Hey, how's it going? Please look at my signs. Oh, okay, that's hard for me to focus right now, but if you'll notice there, I have some notes with arrows asking you to notice them because I wasn't mentioning those things before. Whoops. Let's just say that I wrote a lot of stuff that probably people didn't see, which makes me sad because I'd be all, yeah, this is great. This is really good. This really adds to the video. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Well, next time. Anyway, so, I've been having a hard time getting myself out of the house lately. Sometimes it's weather related. Sometimes I think weather's gonna do something, and I'm like sitting around thinking, oh man, I ain't going out there if it's like that. And then I'll go look out, and it won't be anything like I thought. Like I could have just gone. And I don't know. It's like I just wanted to stay in and not feel like, oh, you should just get out there and exercise and come on. And and I should, yeah, but I just didn't like the way that, like, the fact that I decided not to made me feel like, oh, you blew it. I'm trying not to give myself a hard time about it because I feel like that doesn't help anything. In fact, jumping all down my throat about what I'm not doing, what I just said, that doesn't help, actually. That has the opposite effect on me, almost, or entirely. Depends on the day. But anything what? Anyway, I got out today and I'm really glad I did. It was just a relief to get outside. Oh, something piercing always has to come on. Shoot, hold on, let me go turn that down. That was only trip number 2 to adjust the volume, so I guess I can calm down. I don't care for that particular song. I don't know if you got a whiff of what it is, but it's still going on. And when I said piercing, I meant not just penetrating through the distance between the radio in the other room and here, that I don't want it to get picked up, but also I guess I have a lot of songs that feel like sharp objects in my ear. That one feels like ice picks. It's unpleasant is what I'm trying to say. The feeling. The song itself, it was a big hit. I never got why. Probably because it made my ears hurt. Anyway, what do I know? So, what was I going to talk about? I got that feeling. Oh, so I got out, and it was a big relief. But also, there's like various reasons I'll just feel like I don't want to go outside. And anyway, if that happens for too long, then I start getting all antsy, which is kind of what happened. And then it just also, it was easier to go out today because all of the things, whatever they were, because it's kind of unspecified even for me, like, as it was going on, I'm like, I don't know what's happening, except that I'm like really enjoying this particular activity that I'm sitting around doing. And why is guilt picking at me? Like, kind of interfered with the pleasantness of what I was doing. So, and I didn't want to go outside, so I guess I was just trapped in here with myself, doing that to myself. And I don't know what changed. So many things are affecting, I'll just say me, but it's not just me. can't really put a finger on it. I'm no expert in any of the subjects or the topics. But anyway, no, I guess subjects would have been right. Who's grading me? Yeah, anyway, I went out. Went out, it was nice. Good clouds. Very kind of foreboding looking, except, like, I didn't go the entire route I was taking like last summer, because I'm just out of shape, man, and I don't want to destroy my shoulder by like totally going for it, and then by like mid-June, like I won't be able to move for a month. Like I don't want to do that again. So if I gotta drive around like a slug at a slug rate of speed, then that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I did. So anyway, I left the house. I was taking like the short route, and just a couple of drops were hitting me. And then I got to the point where YouTube decides to stop the music, and I'm like, yeah, I had to like get a good rhythm going, feeling good, and then the music stops. It's like, YouTube, are you my mother? What do you care if the thing is still playing? Like, why do you gotta check in? Then I gotta stop what I'm doing and break my momentum, and it's like a bummer. Or else I have to pee, and that means I have to interrupt the route completely and just turn around and go home. So you didn't need to know all of that. But anyway, my nose is trying to just run like a faucet here. Pardon my back. Whatever the case, I was just sort of deciding, like, oh, you know what? Oh, shoot. Like, feeling like I could have gone, like, further, and it wouldn't have hurt me, because I have been going out, like, it's not the first day that I've gone out, and I haven't gone out and, like I was saying, just destroyed my whole body by overdoing it. So I was like, oh, I guess I could go further, and I had made the turn and got like most of the way to the extra block, and then it started like totally raining. But you know what? Maybe I was not supposed to do that extra block, because I said okay, and turned around and came in. But it really was a mood enhancer. So, and then there was this other thing going on, like the waves of like the lovey feeling and the happy, I would say that I don't know how good a judge I am of this, because I usually am stoned, but I think if you're not stoned and these feelings are coming over you, and if you're unfamiliar with the feeling, that's what it feels like. Anyway, that's still going on. And that's like, it's strong. It's like makes me feel kind of dazed, like right now. I'm having a bit of trouble focusing. I know if I do this a few times, it'll get better, but I don't think it's like my eyesight like going in and out like of focus at the same time that I happen to be feeling waves of just like I'm not even really sure how to describe it. Like just I feel at ease. I feel somewhat sedated in a way, like with like pre-surgery type sedation, except I'm conscious. It's just an interesting feeling. It's weird and powerful. Anyway, and then I saw earlier, I just happened to come across this reader, and she's a psychic medium, and so it said that she was gonna she it was like she'd written the title, and it made more sense once I watched it, but it was like she had started it and then she's like, well, no, wait, gonna do this instead, channeling by Archangel Uriel. And I thought, I guess I was all, oh, okay, I'll check it out. It just like seemed like a good thing to do, but I'm glad I did, because this woman, I guess I could link the video, her video, in the information box of mine, where there will also be probably something else that I had to write down and say, after the video. Link, what am I linking again? Oh, yeah. I know her name's Nick. Oh, well, it says Nikki on her, like, channel icon thing, but it's Nicola, maybe? Nicole? I don't know. I'll link the video. But, she channeled for the first time an archangel, I guess, and he says right in the beginning that she's not in a trance, she's like awake, but it's like Daniel Scranton, but that she is literally repeating what he's telling her or showing her. She said it a number of times, in her third eye. And so I guess that's the reception center. But it sounded like he was like showing her say this in some fashion, not necessarily like that, but just the way that they were both phrasing it. But he was like, this is she's just repeating back to you what I'm telling her to say. And like right off the bat, pretty early into it, he says that this is the first time he's channeled. I don't know if it was through just a medium or on YouTube, but he said it was his first time doing it, and it was so interesting because coming through, he was having problems with either semantics or pronunciation, depending on the word, but there were some words that he just couldn't do, like, or he didn't like. He was like, edit that, change that to something else. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what was happening. Like, he didn't like symptoms because he said it sounds like you're sick, and because he was talking about ascension symptoms, and he's like, it's not an illness though, it's, well, watch the video if you're interested. So that kind of filled me up more, and he talks about the I believe he talks about the Ace of Cups, or was that in my brain? But he did talk about, like, your cup overflowing, and that being the feeling of spirit, where you let... He goes on for a while. But it was interesting. And so I was already feeling kind of up from those things, but it's just been ongoing for days. Like I told my friend, usually Sunday is, like, the day that I specifically devote to, like, spiritual pursuits. Like, that's like the main focus, and but that is just happening like all days now. Like, all of that stuff is just coming whenever it wants. In the form of some sort of, like, it'll be a video or something on YouTube, or sometimes, like, if I go out, like, somebody will say something, and it'll just be like, they'll say the thing that is attached to what I am, like, obsessed with over here that I never discussed with this person. Yeah. Anyway, what the heck was I saying? Oh, yeah, just, like, all these messages, like the biblical stuff, like more Noah today, but different parts of Noah's story, and also a little bit of Moses, and a little bit of, like, all it. It's like the same, like, I'm not clicking on it to go, oh, this has Noah and Lot and Moses in it. It says something different in the title than what the interior of the video eventually talks about. it doesn't say, like, I'm not like going for those on purpose, and I know the algorithm sends you like what it thinks you want, but the algorithm has a lot of choices. It seems like what it's sending me is, it's like been so significant, it's been like so specific. And there is that thing of like talking out loud and your phone picking up every dang thought, but most of this stuff I know I'm not saying out loud, because I know what I'm talking about I know what I'm talking about when I talk to myself. I remember that better than I remember most of what I say. Say when I do this, turn off the camera, and I'm like I'll watch the playback, but it's like it just goes out of my mind pretty quick, because then it gets stuffed with other stuff. And so, yeah, because of that stuff, and not just that stuff, just like a bunch of other stuff that connects to a single sort of area of thought, a line of thought that it makes sense to me. And so I've just been kind of absorbing a lot of stuff, and like just I can't think of the word, but like just letting it sink in. And so I did pull some cards. I guess I pulled a bunch of cards, and I pulled from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. Don't have an avalanche there. Rabbit. And if you look at the icon at the top, that is going to indicate that it is an earth element animal. Or, well, that's the energy of the card anyway. Well, I guess of the rabbit too. So, there's a couple of obvious things I could go with here. It's like the second or third day of spring, and rabbits. Easter's about to come up, but I'm not really talking about any of that, except that I want a chocolate bunny, but that's neither here nor there. The rabbit here, the rabbit is more than just Easter and like a fearful creature and like a raptor's prey, or well, many things prey, I suppose. They have quickness, like agility, literal quickness, and so it just made me think, because some of the stuff I watched gave me some interesting pointers about like what's coming. Not like specifically like I know any specific event, and this is something that has been talked about for a while, and I mean, I just don't see a way forward without some turbulence, some bumps in the road. Like, I just am kind of okay with the chills, just kind of expecting it. But what this told me was we have to be agile and quick-witted, as well as like, the subject keeps coming up too. Look, I'm all annoyed. Agile physically, and like keep up our strength, keep up our wellness. Really take the time to do the self-care right now, because it's gonna come in handy going forward. Like, if you think things were like rocky the past, I don't know, decade. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because the last 10 years, this crap's been going on for thousands of years. And we've been working up to this point, which is something else that I kind of got from all of the kind of religious-y stuff or biblical stuff. But here's the other thing that's been so weird about that. Like, I question it, and I have questions about some of the stuff that I see delivered, like lately, if I see something that's saying these people won't ascend, or these people won't make it through the rapture, I just turn that off, because that's, don't need to be separating people. Like, everybody's gonna do it when it happens. Like, it's gonna happen to everybody. And some of the stuff in the Bible, like, some of the predictions have been coming through true, like with I talked about this the other day, like especially like with the wars and stuff, and the big fake blowhards like ruling everything, and just the average person being treated terribly. But I feel like that's been a battle that's been going on my whole life, and that's, a mere 60 years out of thousands. So, like, I kind of get, like, it's been going on forever, but boy, like, can it end already? Like, I'm ready, it's time. But I think it is time, and hence the turbulence. Like, I'm not the only one talking about all this stuff. Like, shit's coming to a head, is what I'm saying. So, we have to be ready for it. And if we're going to get emotionally exhausted, and, we may have to work a lot harder. Although, I mean, there are things in the plus column too, but we just all get affected by stuff. So, more than ever, it will, help us if we can be as ready for it as possible. I mean, some stuff you don't have to be psychic to see coming. You can, like, get in front of some things. And so I also pulled I pulled 3 from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Oops, that was all glare. And first one is, well, you're just going to be a little... Oh, there's something under there. Okay, thank you. Number 14 card, Drifter. And the subtitle is Experiencing Life as It Comes. Whoa. That's an interesting subtitle. You don't really have a choice, do you? I mean, can you do it a different way when life is coming? I'd like to know. Maybe? I'm not sure. That seems off. That seems off. Seems weird. But weird might be the word of the day. Like, it's already kind of weird. Things are weird. So, yeah, it still looks like a Chinese junk for some reason. Why do I mean, that's what the ship on here is. There's no mistaking that. Look at that sail. There's nothing, like, when I first started doing this and I realized what I was looking at, I actually went online and searched what a Chinese junk looks like. That's what this is. It's not one of those fuzzy, like, like a Rorschach picture, like, and you just give your impression of what it is. It is one of those kind of ships. But it's a particular kind of ship, though. Like, it has a sail, but it also has a very, like, I think, interesting propulsion or till mechanism thing. And I don't think that they're like deep water ships, because I think of that oar till mechanism thing. It's like this big bar that's attached to I think the thing in the water is called a till. But whatever you'd have down there in place of like a propeller, and it not only you can like jab it in the mud or whatever under the water, because they don't go that deep, I believe, is what I remember. And also they can be like picked up and they like move it back and forth, and because of the shape of it, it's like a fin or something, and along with the sail it moves them along. I don't know, like look it up. My memory could be faulty on all of that, but I don't think so. I remember the oddest things in great detail. Like, I don't know how that's gonna come in handy for me anytime soon, but there you have it. And so I always, I don't know how maneuverable these things are. Like, I don't know if they'd be the best boat for rapids, but that's not happening here. And I guess it's kind of like a metaphor for, even if there are rough waters, you just like keep it simple, keep it really old fashioned and calm. These boats have been around forever and a day. And that's kind of impressive. Like, no room for improvement. Who, you don't even need it. Shut up. So the second card I pulled was the number 10 card, Deep Diver. And the subtitle is Diving into a Task. So, I don't know what that might mean for everyone, because I feel like, in light of what I just said, you can have like all of that going on, and your life is just going to continue. I'm not saying that it's going to stay exactly the same and it won't be unaffected by the forecast turbulence. But I just noticed that her feet could be like those spotted, or she could have painted some Doc Martens, but I think I've seen some with polka dots. And I was gonna say that she's like kind of dressed for work. If you have a job like as a barista or maybe a salesperson in a hipster store or something casual, or a restaurant, something like that. So like you have your job, and then you got like all this extraneous, could be stresses, things like giving you anxiety, some kind of literal mishap, like an unfortunate incident that maybe requires hospitalization for someone, or relocating, or it could just be like, I don't know, your boss is a cokehead alcoholic. Something that just makes your life, your everyday life, just tough, or your house is just like needs work and you can't get the management to take care of it, and you can't do it because you got stuff going on. You have to keep your mind on other things. Like everything else, all of those other things are attached to somebody else with a job that they're supposed to be handling it. Like, that's their task. And the third card I pulled was the number 28 card, Hollow Bone, Teachability. So I I think it's interesting that this whole motif is happening, because like, I feel like that's full on Native American everything. Like this here, the hollow bone, is like the rest of these bones, some part of like a deer, it looks like, or was it an elk? Yeah, it looks like an elk, but some herd animal that like indigenous Americans or Canadians are known for hunting, and then using every bit of the animal in tribute, in a way, in thanks for like the sustenance and all the other use that it gets out of it. But so anyway, This here is like a flute type deal, and all of this are sort of like the elements of a ceremony. Like, I don't totally know all of this stuff. Like, I've been kind of low-key berating myself because I don't know as much as I would like to know about all of the nations, is particularly the one that I'm supposedly fractionally a part of. So I always feel like open that door again. This cat is trying to freeze me. Yeah, I always feel like I'm deficient, but I know that like all of this stuff, it looks like it's could be parts of some ceremonial use, and the flute definitely, though I guess it's a flute, definitely it has like a solemn purpose, and and it definitely has a whole shamanic vibe going on here too, which is kind of what this is like about, like what I'm doing, like the interpreting of the signs and the symbols to make sense of like life, and like animals as totems and teachers and spirit guides. Like, the natural world is so important to the native people and indigenous people everywhere. The oldest inhabitant, the oldest inhabitants that survive will be trying to maintain some information passed down from the elders, that there's a prophecy here in America that they talk of, the native people talk of a time when everything kind of goes to shit and people have to like learn the old ways and the stuff that matters from the native people. And so the subtitle on this card is Teachability. And okay. I get the chill out of one arm. Like somebody's touching me right here. Okay, so, yeah. Going back to the old ways, and that's, you know, a lot of sense-based stuff. And so, coincidentally with all of that biblical stuff, for one thing, I question a lot of the stuff that people are saying, that I feel like they're telling you or they're instructing you about something. I always take that with like several grains of salt, because I know that every person that something goes through, it like loses some fidelity. And you know, like people put it through their filter and get their spin all over it, and it's hard to not do that. So why I try to keep it to my own personal experience and what I'm doing. You know, like I may make a suggestion, but I'm not like telling you this is for sure the truth and the way of doing whatever I'm talking about, because I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just letting you watch me do it. So, the biblical stuff kind of connects to this old way stuff, because that too, like going back to Egypt even, is, and that's one of them, one of the prophecies. In fact, I actually did, I think, put this up on my community page, and it was about King Ahab and Gilgamesh, I believe, and old Bible story. And like it's like a BC, like before Christ, and so like pretty old stuff. But it talked about, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm mixing it up with something else. There was a prophecy of Hermes, Thoth, I don't know, he's got like 3 personas, but anyway, Hermes, this prediction was about how, like, basically the world we're living in now. So it's not from the Bible, it's like from before it, and it talks about like the people in charge just like totally out for themselves to the point where like death becomes profitable. So watch out for that coming attractions. Life's already cheap, so that's a problem. Gotta make a profit on it. Ugh. Oh wait, they already do that with the war stuff. But I guess it's gonna get more extreme or something. Yay! Duck, run, serpentine. But he talks about losing Egypt. So I mean, like I said, this is an old prophecy, but he talked about it as if he says it's going to take a really long time. But the losing the Egypt really struck me because he like went back and sort of broke down what he meant, and that was about like how the loss of like all of this ancient knowledge that was like in and about Egypt and Iraq, which was I think Assyria at the time, or Uruk, or was that, no, that was a city or a kingdom or something in Assyria, which is Iraq now. But that sort of Nile Valley, what are those other rivers, Mesopotamia area, it kept talking about Samaria in Assyria, but it was spelling it S-A-M, so I didn't know if it was Samaria, Mesopotamia. It must have been. I'll have to look up if there's a city in Assyria that was spelled that way, but it was also misspelling a bunch of stuff because it was AI, so it was like the worst phonetic spelling of some stuff. It's kind of distracting. It's like very distracting actually, but anyway, don't get distracted by that. But what they were saying was the loss of Egypt, and then like all of these like ancient just sort of stuff that was written down. Some of it was just like cataloging and lists of stuff, but this was talking about stories. Like there was a giant monolith that was found with another ancient king on there. What was his name? I can't remember, but he had war campaigns and blah blah blah, and did stuff with Elohim, I think, and it was recently discovered, I guess, because there was like a drought in the river. I'm confused. There's similar things that I saw, but back to the loss of the Egypt stuff was that Egypt, the culture, the civilization that was there for a long time, really understood like the heavens and the earth and the relation, and like ETs and like just a bunch of like natural knowledge, like mystery school stuff, I guess. But well, more than that, because it was like astronomy, and well, maybe all of that was combined, but just a lot of lost stuff that we're either discovering evidence of them recording it or just rediscovering it. And so that's good, but because that's like coming to the tail end of his prophecy. But there's so many prophecies and so many like floods that ended stuff because things was just going wrong, and God was just like, oh no. Blank slate. But the thing about stuff like that is like, I always read it or whatever and think, or hear it and think, man, it's like they're trying to tell us stuff over and over again. And that is so like us humans. But at the same time, I question and I doubt stuff, and especially when it's coming from people, which the Bible did, and like everything way after the fact of the stuff they're talking about. So, and I didn't say this aloud, but then I started seeing videos like, don't believe the Bible. Are they still controlling us? I have wondered that. So it's like weird. What, am I wondering so hard the algorithm picked it up, or is it extrapolating my line of thought? I don't know. No idea. Maybe all of the above, because I have come to believe that the algorithm is as much a part of God doing stuff as anything else. So, actually, I think I'm done. My hair is driving me crazy. It is getting so thin. It is just unbelievably thin. There's no way I can convey to you the loss. I can't prove a negative. Vanity. Vanity corner over. How do I do that again? Thank you, and good night.